Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that were looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
What is up, guys, and welcome back finally to Season 3 of F1 2017 Career Mode. Sorry about the wait, but hopefully in this episode it will be worth it. As you can see, we have all the major upgrades that we applied to the car at the end of Season 2. A minor upgrade to the aerodynamics in terms of drag. We had the major weight reduction upgrade as well, which you can see right now. Reduction in just over 5 kilos. And we also had the major engine upgrade go on the car as well. So like just under 10 brake horsepower in terms of additional speed. So with all those factors culminating together, we're going to have a very rapid car in a straight line. So really looking forward to going forward now with Season 3. I don't know what the true potential of this car is, but as you can see there, we have absolutely leapfrogged Toro Rosso and also Williams. And now we're pretty much right in the fight with, I'd say, Force India, Renault. But on paper, I would like to see if we can match or maybe even better Red Bull, because we know that the performance index does lie a little bit and we can always extract a little bit more out of the car than the AI. So I'm hoping to be near enough challenging for the front and hopefully going for the title this season. But it's time for quali. Let's see what this car can do. Alright, let's go. Here we go for qualifying. This is actually Q2. I managed to squeak through in the first part of quali just using standard and lean revs, believe it or not, but we only just made it through, literally by 2 or 3 tenths. It was pretty outrageous. But here we are in Q2, only doing the one run. I want to see if I can make it through qualifying 3 on the super soft tyres, the harder of the two compounds available for qualifying, and hopefully make it a lot easier for me to do the one stop, because heading into this weekend I wanted to do the one stop anyway and see if I could get an advantage over the AI, kind of use some league racing tactics, you know, kind of put my knowledge to good use around the first few rounds of the calendar, because yeah, I am really heavily into league racing, and quite often when it comes to online the strategies are a little bit different and you can find a little bit more time by doing something a little bit different to the AI. But straight away we go into P9. We were kind of held up by...
Okay, Fernando, we are safely through to Q3, Nice lap.
Fernando's happy, he's through to Q3 as well, but only a tenth in front of me on the ultra soft tyres, which is a little bit alarming. Alonso still not properly getting the most out of his upgrades, but we got held up by Sergio Perez at turn 3, I believe it was, so we could have been even faster in that session. It just made things a little bit tight there, only just squeaking through to Q3 once again. So hopefully in this final part of qualifying, we have the ultra soft tyres on, we have the max fuel-rich mix setting to utilize, and we'll see what we can do with that. I kind of do want to save my engine a little bit in these qualifying sessions from now on. You know, Q1 and Q2, I'll try and use the lowest setting that I can get away with. That may result in some, I don't know, results, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to really just find out where the car truly stands, and it might get easier as the season goes on with more upgrades to get away with those lower fuel mixtures. But first lap done. It's been pretty solid so far, solid banker. It's a 122.581. It actually puts us P2, but a long way away from Lewis Hamilton. I'd hazard a guess to say that a lot of the other front-running teams will kind of fill that void, as it were, and yeah, there you go. Sebastian goes top. Daniel Ricciardo, P3 as well, only just in front of us. I'd imagine Max Verstappen will get in the mix as well, same too with Kimi Räikkönen, but we head out for the final part of qualifying now, and we've got Lewis Hamilton right behind us, so really bad timing on his front to kind of start his lap right behind me. If anything, he probably won't even improve on this final run, because I don't feel like we're faster than Mercedes. We're definitely not faster than Ferrari either at this stage. We're kind of at the Red Bull level, I'd say. Somewhere between Red Bull and Mercedes, with Ferrari being the best car, I believe, in the development race so far in this career mode. But either way, going through the fast left-right chicane, very nice and flowing through there. You can just about get away with going through there in 8th gear. You just have to lift off a little bit, but I think 7th gear is probably the better way to exit the corner and put the power down. But either way, running through the final sector now. Looks like we're 3/10 up, and this will put us somewhere between, I don't know, Ricardo. I'm hoping to beat Ricardo on this lap if we can. Through the final corner, open the DRS, max rich setting to the line, and it puts us P5. So in the end, we did beat Daniel Ricciardo. We were beaten by both of Finn's after setting our laps. So that was qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. It's 5th place and only 5.5 tenths away from the front of the field. That is amazing. I think that might be the closest we've ever been, and we genuinely got there as well. This isn't like a Monaco. This isn't a Singapore. This is, you know, a fairly, I don't know, average track. Like, you've got some straights there, you've got some high-speed corners, and we're in the mix well and truly this season. This gives us an outstanding platform to work from for the race, with us doing the one-stop. I believe Kimi Räikkönen will be doing that as well. He did qualify on the Supers in Q2. So, yeah, great start. Unfortunately for Fernando, he was a long way off. Again, it seems like the more upgrades we put on, the further away we get from Fernando. So there's something going on there. Definitely not getting his upgrades. But as you can see here, we've got 700 resource points. We can spend that on some downforce right now. But what I'm actually thinking about doing here is saving the resource points for this major drag reduction upgrade. It's going to cost 1,050 resource points. So we'll probably have to wait till the next race, and then we'll apply that upgrade and get it in time for like Russia or Spain or something like that. So really looking forward to that, and that'll give us a monumental boost once again. So yeah, that's the strategy. I want to be really clinical and be really efficient with the upgrades that I put on this season. You know, minor upgrades won't really cut it anymore. Maybe the major upgrades are the ones we really need to step towards in order to close that gap to the front runners. But that's qualifying. Time for the race now. For my home race, the Australian Grand Prix. Thank you very much, Jeff, but the intention truly for me is to move forward in this Grand Prix. Hopefully a podium, dare I say it, maybe even a race win, depending on how the race goes for us today. One stop, like I said, starting on the Supers, going to the Softs. I'd say the alternate strategy is what the AI will be running down below, except they'll be starting on the Ultras. So it'll be an interesting strategy. We need to make sure that we can keep within touching distance of the leaders. So Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, make sure they don't get within, make sure they don't exceed that 15-second window of a pit stop. So long as they rejoin behind us after their first stop, we will still be in the game. It's ultimately down to us to make sure we're close enough and have the pace really to go out there and get a podium today. So a lot at stake for this season. It's going to be really crucial to get some, really early points in the season where the car still needs more development work. So we'll see how quickly we can close that gap to the top running teams. But here we go, ready for the start of Season 3 of F1 2017 Career Mode. 5 red lights, and we're underway for this race, and it looks like a lightning start for Bottas there on the inside. He's going to be challenging his teammate and Sebastian Vettel heading into turn 1. We got the inside possibly of Kimi Räikkönen, and the two Finns have clashed. Big shock right there, but we try and slot in between Räikkönen and Bottas, and it looks like we're going to have the outside heading into turn 3. We'll have to be really brave under brakes here around the outside of Räikkönen, and I think we might have just about pulled that off there. We did really squeeze for space there with Räikkönen. Hamilton and Vettel going side by side as well as they contest the lead of this Grand Prix, and Vettel has got a shocking exit, just caught up behind that Mercedes in the wake of his rear wing, and we all get away fairly cleanly there. So it's Hamilton, Vettel, myself, we've got Räikkönen, then Bottas. That's the top 5. Beyond that, I can't really tell you what's going on, but yeah, already we're looking pretty racy at the start of this Grand Prix, all helped by Hamilton and Vettel squabbling quite a bit. But as things settle out over the next few laps, I'd expect the leaders to start edging away. So, yeah, it's ultimately now for us to be as consistent as we can, try and put on the pressure as quickly as we can, and just see how close we can stay with the cars in front at the first pit stop. There's an engine failure for someone back there. It's Valtteri Bottas out of the Grand Prix on just lap 2. Unbelievable. I hope for his sake he hasn't entirely lost like an ICE or a turbo, because that would really put him behind the 8 ball for the rest of the season. Only 4 engine components, 4 power unit components you get over the course of the season, and yeah, that would be absolute heartbreak for him if he has already lost maybe a complete power unit already. But meanwhile, lap 5, we see Kimi Räikkönen having a little pot shot at us at turn 3. I'm having to run a little bit conservative with the fuel at this stage because I kind of am going for a different strategy this season, going for lower fuel. Hamilton has made a mistake, and Vettel takes the lead into the 3rd sector. Never mind my strategy and what have you. Vettel has now taken this lead, and Hamilton all of a sudden looks really, really vulnerable. He actually pulls into the pit lane for his first stop of the day. Very early, it must be said. So maybe he's doing a 3-stop. We'll have to wait and see. He pulls into the pit lane, and it looked like he was fitting on these soft compound tyres by what the Mercedes pit crew were holding there. So looks like he might still be a 2-stop, but either way, Hamilton is going to be absolutely buried in the field, and I'd almost say he's out of contention for the race win now. I really do. He'll get held up that much by the midfield teams. But Fernando was in the pits as well. Very early stop for him. We get a terrible run out of turn 2. And here goes Räikkönen up the inside into turn 3. Again, it's a carbon copy of lap 1, where we have to hold around the outside for turn 3, turn to the inside for the next left-hander, sorry. And we just hold on to the position. Had to leave space for Räikkönen. Got caught up on the curb there. Lost the back end. And there we go. We hold on. Here's a replay of this. This was absolutely mad. I can't even keep up with the action. But we know Räikkönen's on the inside. Had to leave as much space as I could. That meant I had to ride up on the curb on the exit of that corner. And because of that, lost the back end. It was down to me to save it. And thankfully enough, we got away with it. But meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel is into the pits for his first of 2 pit stops today. He goes onto the ultra soft tyres. Interesting choice. I would have thought he'd go onto the supers, but he's going for a very aggressive 2-stop race today. So Sebastian is going to have amazing pace on those ultras. He should be able to cut through the field very nicely. But here goes Räikkönen. Once again, we have to leave him the space. This time we should be a little bit more composed about that. We've dealt with this before a couple of times, so that was much more smooth for us to maintain that position, which is now the lead of the Grand Prix, by the way. First time we are leading a career mode race in a very long time. I think the last time was like Singapore, Season 2. But either way, it is a nice luxury to have at this stage. We want to be leading at the end of lap 29. We don't want to be leading halfway and end up off the podium or something like that. But meanwhile, we have Kimi Räikkönen in the pits. He's gone onto the soft compound tyre, so that does confirm he will be doing the 1-stop today, and we are going to respond on the very next lap. So we're absolutely pushing at this stage. I've got warnings from Jeff saying that we've been overheating the tyres. I've never heard that before in F1 2017, so we were really pushing to make sure that we could, kind of rejoin back out in front of him. We really pushed the limits on the way into the pit lane there as well, right up against the wall. So absolutely leaving nothing on the table when it comes to trying to get a result today into the pits. We'll be hitting on the soft compound tyres, like I said, and if we can get away with this, this would be mega for our race. It's a really slow getaway. Probably lost a second there. And I tried to jump the green line. I always do that, but yeah, got caught out by that. But we rejoin on the track right in front of this massive train that is led by Jolie and Palmer. And as we scroll back through the list, you can see Räikkönen is caught up in that train. So probably stopped a lap too early and just rejoined in the thick of things and lost so much time there. So yeah, massive, massive win for us. It will mean that once Sebastian Vettel makes his final pit stop of the day, we will be leading this race, and it will be ultimately down to us to make sure we stay in the lead for the final half of this race. So yeah, I really need to push on here, get a gap between myself and Räikkönen as he continues to deal with the cars who haven't stopped yet on their soft compound tyres. That's him up the inside of Sainz, I believe. Job done. He's now in effective... Oh, he's now in like P6 or something like that, but it's effective P3 for now. No, it's actually Danny Kvyat, sorry. I'm catching Carlos Sainz. So, yeah, there you go. Like I said, I mentioned it earlier in the race, but I was going for a very aggressive fuel strategy. Barely gave myself any extra fuel so that I could have a lighter car and I wouldn't be relying so much on rich fuel mixture, and I could save the engine a little bit, but I am struggling quite a bit with trying to get the fuel back in check. But meanwhile, we got the inside of Science. He's still on our left-hand side, so we're going to have to dance around the outside here at turn 4, and we get the move done into P2. So we'll have a little replay of this. Nice move up the inside of turn 3. Carlos, to be fair to him, doesn't give up, tries to hold the place, and like I said, just danced around the outside there, got up on the curb, and we managed to exit off of there nice and cleanly. But we have Sebastian Vettel into the pits on lap 16. He'll be fitting on super soft tyres in this stop, and we'll be running to the end of the race. So yeah, they're the contenders. Myself, we've got Raikkonen, who is a few seconds back. I'm not too sure what he'll have in his arsenal to chase us down. He is a few seconds back and does have all the tyres, but Sebastian will probably be the danger man. He's caught behind Esteban Ocon at this stage in like P5, P6, so yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, but he'll have a whole metric ton of pace for the final 9 laps of this Grand Prix, so we'll have to see how that plays out. He's already cleared Esteban Ocon, and now he's got his sights set on Max Verstappen, who was in 3rd place. Sergio Perez heading the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Very interesting. We might see Sebastian Vettel pop up there at any moment, but Raikkonen has now got himself up in a second after Sainz made his stop. 7 laps to go, and this is effectively the margin we have to play with. The gap is 2.8 seconds. 2.8 seconds to a works Ferrari driven by Kimi Raikkonen, a former world champion, and myself in a McLaren Honda. Let's see what we can do for the rest of this race. I am pushing on as much as I can. Lance Stroll is out of the Grand Prix, and it looks like we have a safety car of some kind. Fortunately, only the VSC, which was a dream result. It allowed me to just cool off, save a bit of fuel, and also maintain the gap to the cars behind. But unfortunately, I didn't time that all too well, because I lost about a second in the delta right at the end of the VSC. But meanwhile, we see Sebastian Vettel overtaking Max Verstappen for the podium, and now he'll have his sights set on Kimi Raikkonen. The gap to those two, though, is pretty substantial, and I don't know if Vettel is actually going to be in the game here by the end of the race, so we might have actually dodged a bullet there. But Raikkonen got caught up behind one of the Saubers. We got held up by them too for half a lap, but Kimi got balked even heavier than what we did, so very lucky in the end there to avoid that. And that was a really bad exit there at turn 2. Just really pushing on, just trying to maintain the gap between the two of us. Unfortunately, Raikkonen is now within a second, and is really going to start piling on the pressure for these final couple of laps of this Australian Grand Prix. I was saving a little bit of fuel. That's why the gap came down a little bit. Maybe nerves are in it as well, given what's at stake for this race. My home Grand Prix, and we lead. Heading on to the final lap, you can see Sebastian Vettel way off in the distance. He won't catch us today. It's just going to be a two-way fight between myself and Kimi Raikkonen for this Australian Grand Prix. We managed to weather the storm through the first sector. Now it's down to the middle sector, where Kimi has been so strong in the speed traps leading up to this fast left-right chicane. We managed to keep him at bay through there. We've been smart this race. We've been really managing our fuel, and we just left a little bit in the tank so that we could push on this final lap. As we come to the 3rd sector now, Raikkonen has a little look around the outside. Nothing really doing there. Final corner, and this could be the first home win I've had in career mode in a very long time, if not maybe ever. Across the line, and we have won the Australian Grand Prix.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
Oh man, what a race. First race of Season 3, and we have already got ourselves a victory. I'm not going to lie, I was aiming very, very high when it came to this race, given that I have a bit of experience with this track on this game through league racing. I know the strategy, I know the ins and outs, and in the end we actually managed to pull it off. And as it turns out, it's actually not my first race win here at Australia. I believe I did win in F1 2013, way back in the day in the Mercedes, but... Or it might have even been F1 2012. No, it's 2013, sorry. But yeah, either way, very long time. It's good to actually get a home win here. We lead the drivers' standings. We're second in the constructors, simply by just that race win there. And it's been a dream start. We beat both the Ferraris. We had Valtteri Bottas not scoring points and Lewis Hamilton way down there in 10th place. So, you know, I'm not going to tempt fate yet. It's only the first race, but already things are looking very, very good, and we still have some upgrades still yet to put on the car. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2017 videos. Let's see if we can get something absolutely crazy for this video. Maybe 10,000 likes. That would be absolutely outstanding, and I will endeavor to do the best job I can to get these videos out as quickly as I can so that we can see if we can win the championship. But had a brief meeting there with Jonathan right at the end of the race. He's a little bit more trusting of me and my abilities. He's actually given me the opportunity to do a classic car race, which I've actually been looking forward to. So we'll be doing that at the start of episode 2. And as I said as well, we'll be looking to do the major drag reduction upgrade as well. And that'll just make us an absolute beast in a straight line. So in terms of the strategy going forward with the R&D, I'm actually going to ignore the front and rear downforce upgrades at the top of the screen there. I'm actually going to target going for the ultimate upgrades right at the bottom. So hopefully maximize those and get those on the car as quickly as I can. No point wasting time in going for the minor upgrades there and just trying to get, you know, the major ones at the top of that branch. I want to go straight for the bottom, get the ultimate upgrades on, and see if I can win this damn championship in Season 3. That's going to be the goal. But guys, that has been this video for today. Absolute dream start to the championship. Like I said, it just has me so pumped for the rest of this series in trying to get this McLaren to the top. McLaren is back, but let's see if we have the consistency to stay at the top. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next race, the Chinese Grand Prix, I'll see you next time.